Hey, what's going on? This is Troy, and this is the Planet 76 podcast, your source for Sixers news, highlights, hot takes, and more. Welcome to the show.
Welcome, everyone, to Planet 76. My name is Michael. Troy is here, as always, and we have another episode. It's been a while since we recorded. It feels like a while, but I think it's only been a week.
Not too long, but a while.
Maybe because the Sixers have had 4 games since we last recorded. Cavs, Thunder, T-Wolves, and then tonight was the Lakers. Got all that coming up. Recap for you guys. Make sure you subscribe. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on everything because we have a platform on every single social media app that you could think of, even ones you don't think of. So follow us, subscribe, and I'll let Troy take it away.
Yes. So, I'd say out of the 4 games you just mentioned, the 2 most notable and, where we might, as far as recap goes, where we might spend our most time is with the Lakers win tonight in blowout fashion. I read online, it says this is LeBron James has suffered his worst defeat in his NBA career. So that's pretty notable. If you don't know who that is, wow. LeBron James, he's played a lot of games in this league, and this is his worst loss. So 138-94.
I'll tell you this: LeBron James is a basketball player in this league.
Yeah, he's pretty good. 138-94. Sixers could not miss, literally at times in this one at home at the Wells Fargo Center. So really, really cool to beat up on the Lakers. That's always fun. But we'll talk about that. And then, the second kind of notable game recently, just because of the significance of it with the in-season tournament, was the Sixers' loss at home in overtime. Very close game to the Cleveland Cavaliers. And then they had a back-to-back where they lost to the Timberwolves without Embiid, and the guys that did play played back-to-back nights, so kind of difficult there.
Right.
But man, if we, even if we just kind of backtrack a little bit, so Sixers Lakers tonight, again 138-94. Hard to hate on that. The kind of interesting nugget there is the second and third quarters, the Sixers won by just 5 points. And yet they still ended up winning by that big of a margin because they won by 13 in the first and 26 in the fourth quarter. It was 40-14 in the fourth quarter. So, what did you like in this one?
Yeah, I mean, just a beat down. They just stomped this Lakers team. I was not expecting this at all. Now, a lot of it, I will say, the Sixers did have a lot of shooting luck tonight.
Yeah.
They hit about 20 threes. They had 12 threes in the first half alone, which was a season high of all NBA teams, I believe. So, I'm not going to lie. That was definitely unexpected. If you asked me if I thought they'd make 20 threes in the game, I would say absolutely not. But, I mean, Maxey was on fire from 3. Marcus Morris was hitting threes. Patrick Beverley was hitting threes. Everybody, Embiid was hitting threes. Everybody was hitting threes. Just total, just domination of the Los Angeles Lakers. And also the Lakers didn't really look like they were trying that hard in this game. And at least after the first quarter, it looks like they were just kind of out there just running around. I don't know what that was about, but clearly they just didn't care. The Sixers, what was it, a 35-piece win?
44.
44. Oh my gosh. That is absurd.
Yes, it is.
The first half, again, I want to emphasize the first half, like one of if not the best first halves I've seen ever from any iteration of the Philadelphia 76ers. It's just totally destroying the Lakers. Like, even from a 3-point shooting perspective aside, they were getting in the basket. They were swatting Anthony Davis, getting blocks, clamping up the perimeter. It was just a really, really, really well-balanced effort, and it was just great.
Right. It was, even just to give some numbers to this performance. So, shooting-wise as a team, it's just kind of interesting to look at. The Lakers shot the ball decently, 47%.
Right.
They only made 7 of 28 from 3, but
Right.
47% from the field, and Sixers were just over 50% from the field, and yet it's a 44-point victory. And the reason it's a 44-point victory is because of those 22 made threes, and even at the free throw line, Sixers, got to the line 13 more times and made 13 more of their attempts. So, that's a big difference, and that was the difference in this one is behind the 3-point line and at the free throw line. Some notables in this one: Embiid had 30, 11 rebounds, 11 assists. For a triple-double, and then Tyrese Maxey with 31. As you mentioned, Marcus Morris, 6 for 8, 4 or 5 from 3.
Yeah.
Patrick Beverley checked in and made some shots early, 4
He
for
was
8 from 3.
threes.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those nights. If
Yeah.
Patrick Beverley's knocking down 50% from 3 on 8 attempts, it's going to be a good night. You can pretty much book that. So
Yeah, that's a pretty good indicator.
And all this considering Tobias Harris struggled offensively. He didn't make a 3, and he was 3 for 12 from the field. Nic Batum got in on the action, as he has as of late. Got to be encouraged by what you see against a team like the Lakers and the way they respond. They dropped 2 in a row to teams they should have beaten in the Cavs and the Timberwolves, although the Timberwolves are playing well to start the season. But then they bounced back with a win against the Thunder by 4. Embiid had 35, 11, and 9. Maxey had 28. The rest of the starters in this one, 16, 14, 14 against the Thunder. So you like to see that on Saturday. And then, again, Timberwolves, Embiid didn't play, got down behind a lot, early, and just not enough, even though it was a balanced attack. A couple guys with 16, Harris with 15. The Sixers played 13 guys in this game against the Timberwolves. So, yeah. But, that in-season tournament loss hurt a little bit. Obviously, Sixers are not going to continue through the knockout rounds as they finish 2-2 in the in-season tournament. Kind of like we said a few weeks ago, I think we would have been really into it if the Sixers fared well and moved on, but now it's like, who cares, whatever. These games don't really mean that much anything, So, yeah, what's kind of your thoughts on where the Sixers are at? They're 12-5. Orlando is on like a 7-game or 5-game streak. They're also 12-5. Yeah, Milwaukee's 12-5, and the Celtics are 13-4. Who the Sixers will see in just a couple nights already again for the third time. But overall, sitting at 12-5, how you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling good about the team. They've obviously had to miss out on the benefits of Kelly Oubre, but for what it's worth and for what they've had, they've played really well. I just really love the way this team is playing, like super fast pace. They're scoring a ton of points. They're obviously hitting a ton of threes, and a lot of that obviously has to do with Embiid and his presence on the court, but it just goes to show how good everyone else is.
Right.
Like, you got guys, 8, 9 guys who can really, really hit shots, who can really, really score. I mean, they're not amazing scorers, but like Marcus Morris can hit shots. Right. Covington can hit shots. Batum has been such a great addition. We haven't talked about him. We will be, though. Even if it's not this episode, we will be talking about Nicholas Batum in the future because he's been amazing. Like, the Sixers have guys that can just hit shots, like guys that can really hoop. And when you have that, you get not only the product is fun, this team is fun, but you just get such a really well-balanced, like really legitimately good basketball team.
Yeah. That is something I do want to talk about is these new guys, and a few of them obviously have had their moments. Patrick Beverley's kind of moment came tonight in the season high. Marcus Morris, his best night shooting. Nicholas Batum was good again tonight, and in previous games he's been good. Covington has made some plays defensively. I think we would obviously like to see a little more from him offensively. We've seen him in a Sixers uniform able to knock down some shots, and I think that'll come. Just like kind of we expected it to for Marcus Morris, even though he started out the gate struggling a little bit and wasn't even seeing much playing time. But after a night like tonight, you got to figure for the foreseeable future he'll find a way in the rotation if he can, if he's healthy. So go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I do want to say, full disclosure, Patrick Beverley has really grown on me as a player. We talked about it here on the podcast in the offseason. I wasn't a huge fan of the Beverley signing. I didn't love it. I still don't love it, but I'm a lot more moved by it. I'm a lot warmer on him as a player and the signing because I just really like what he brings. He comes to the court, he checks in, he really plays. He really gives a lot of effort, especially defensively. And again, when he's hitting threes, he's just that much more valuable. Really, I knew he was a good rebounder, but he's a very good rebounder for being a 6'1", 6'2" guard, not that really big frame, just kind of a smaller guard. Really good rebounder. I just love the effort that he brings. And it's kind of people refer to him as a guard version of PJ Tucker. I don't know if I'm there yet. I still am a little sour on the Sixers trading Tucker.
Yeah.
I need more of a sample size to confirm or deny that for my end.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, Patrick Beverley, he's had some moments, and we've talked about it. It's a very much so a new role for him coming off the bench, as it is for Marcus Morris. These are two guys that are used to starting in their NBA career, and for veterans in their mid-30s, it is an adjustment to come off the bench. It is an adjustment to come to a new city and play a new role, and to realize that, for Patrick Beverley especially, like there's an all-star guy who's looking like he's heading for an all-star, and Tyrese Maxey who's ahead of him. Yeah. That's different for the teams that Patrick Beverley's been on, and so it's an adjustment there. And I think because it's not just tonight against the Lakers where he's kind of shown some strong points. He's come on as of late, and I hope and I think that it could just be attributed to the fact that he is getting more comfortable in this new role. And the same can be said for Marcus Morris. So that's encouraging. The one thing I did want to mention with those guys and Covington and Batum, and you can throw KJ Martin in there if you would like. But how it's like when people say, don't want to speculate, and then they proceed to speculate. That's what I'm about to do. That's what I'm about to do. But the talk is still out there about who stays, who goes. Is this team going to make a move at the deadline? It's not as frequent, after this trade from LA came, and we got some of these guys, but you have to think it's still out there. Do the Sixers go after Zach LaVine or whoever you want to talk about? Maybe even your personal thoughts on whether they should or not aside. What is your thoughts on who's going to be here? Are the Sixers? Do you think the Sixers should roll with what they got, or do you see some of these guys being shipped off? I mean, but the way that Batum's playing, the way that Marcus Morris stepped up tonight, how's this going to work? Do they have too much depth? Because who's going to get the minutes?
Well, I don't think they have too much depth. I'll say that, and we've talked about it here before. They don't have too much depth. They have a lot of depth, and having depth is such a great thing. It's a luxury because most teams who are really trying to compete in this league don't have great depth. They have good depth. Right. Superstar heavy league, which in that most teams don't have a lot of depth. They just don't. Having a lot of depth is a good thing. However, with that being said, if the Sixers still can somehow get in the mix for OG Anunoby, I'm just gonna say it until it either happens or it doesn't happen, until it can't happen anymore. I really would like to see this team pursue OG Anunoby. Yes, it would probably be at the cost of Covington, of Batum perhaps, but OG Anunoby gives you what those guys give you and more. Right. So I would be so willing to ship them to get him. And obviously this team's building chemistry, so there would be a small hit there. But OG is such a seamless fit into your team, offensively and defensively, that I don't really think it would disrupt much at all. If it does, not much at all. And you'd probably have to include some picks, which the Sixers don't really have much of anyway. But if they can do it, this is something that I think needs to be done now, right now.
Yeah. Now it's then it's nights like tonight where pretty much everyone's healthy, I guess, and
Yeah.
you play like this and everybody seemingly plays well, especially among those role players in a Batum who played 29 minutes, Marcus Morris played 20, Beverly played 24. So like somehow tonight there was minutes to go around. Covington played 18.
Right.
So there is minutes to go around in a sense, but
it's tough because, again, kind of harping on what you said, literally just right now, like, the team's playing well with the guys they have. Guys are performing really well. Guys are really playing to their role and complimenting Embiid and Maxey really well. So there's another side of too is these guys are playing super well. Why trade them? Why flip them for OG? And again, there's pros and cons to both of these. I don't think there's a clear answer. I think it's going to be a tough decision on whether to move forward with this roster as it stands or to go for someone in OG. And it would be literally, again, I think he's the perfect fit for this team. I think he gives you what Covington gives you and what Batum gives you, plus more. Obviously, you're going to have to trade 2 or 3 players, but I really do think it's worth it. He can start. Oubre can come off the bench. You still have an 8-man rotation of starting 5, plus Oubre, plus Beverly, plus Reed, insert KJ Martin, or I'm drawing a blank on
Morris or Covington
or Morris. I forgot about Morris. Yeah, if they can hold on to Morris, you still have such a really good 9-man rotation with Kelly Oubre as your 6-man. That's great. So if it does happen, I think it works. If it doesn't happen, I think it works too.
Yeah, to me, it's hard to imagine a future where all these guys are here come February.
Yeah.
Now, again, because you just mentioned, we're pretty healthy outside of Kelly Oubre, who is playing extremely well, and he's a wing just like those other guys that we're talking about. So, man, oh man, it's going to be interesting to see how it works. But, all that to say, you still love what you see from some of these guys. I mean, Marcus Morris has, he's played some minimal minutes in certain games, but if you look at his numbers since he's been here, the 2 games where he shoots, more than 3 attempts a game, he's gotten 16, 2 of the last 3 appearances, one against Minnesota and one against LA tonight. The most minutes he's played against the Lakers tonight, he was 6 for 8, 4 of 5 from 3 for 16 points. He was probably the one, other than like just wanting to see Robert Covington come home, like he was the one in that trade that I was most excited about because of his reputation in the league, and I'm just happy that it's finally starting to show, and he's healthy and getting his time. So pretty cool there, and I don't think he's too mad about the looks that he's getting because of playing with Joel Embiid and Maxey freeing him up. So interesting stuff. Too much depth, no, but a lot of depth is good, and even just the point we talked about 10 minutes ago with Patrick Beverly, Marcus Morris used to starting in this league. Nicholas Batum's another one. Like, if they're coming off the bench, Batum's been starting, but, guys like that are coming off the bench, that just means that you have good depth. If the guys that are coming off the bench are used to starting, like, that's the definition of of good depth. So, interesting stuff there. All right, coming up, though, Sixers-Pelicans Wednesday night. And then Sixers at Celtics, again, their 3rd matchup already. The 4th one's not for another 3 months until late February. So we don't have to see the Celtics again for a while after Friday night. At Celtics, 7:30 on ESPN on Friday. Any thoughts on that game on Friday?
Honestly, I have no thoughts. The Celtics have been without Drew Holiday for the past week or so. I'm not sure if he'll be back. Huge either way. If he's not back, huge for the Sixers because they should take advantage and hopefully will take advantage of a very much weakened Boston Celtics team. He provides a lot. We saw it, I think, last time they played. You get a lot from Holiday, so when he's missing, you have to make up for that. And it's crazy because for how good Holiday is, when he's not playing, they can still make up for it with guys like Derek White, with guys like I mean, even Peyton Pritchard contributes a little bit, to fill up a little bit of that toughness gap when Holiday's gone. But I think the Sixers, again, they beat them already, so it's obviously a totally different team now. It's been about 2 weeks since they last played, so a lot more games under each team's belt. But I still have a lot of confidence in the Sixers. Obviously, it's hard to not have confidence in this team right now, especially because they're just winning. They're at the top of the East. I think they're second or third in the East still.
Yep, tied for second.
Second, yeah. So I don't know. I think it's going to be a good game. It's usually, ever since the Celtics and Sixers have played recently, it's usually been a good game, aside from Game 7 this past year. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm confident in the Sixers for sure.
Yep, always fun to watch them play, and that's coming up again for the third time already on the young season.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. So Sixers sitting at 12-5, historic win over LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers, 138-94. Incredible stuff from the Sixers, shooting the ball incredibly well. Everyone getting involved. You just love to see it. I like to think Nick Nurse, someone we haven't mentioned, I like to think that he has an impact on that. So
Nick Nurse. I'd love to have him on here one day.
That would be awesome.
That would be so cool.
All right, that'll do it for episode 119 of Planet 76, and we'll be sure to catch you next time. You just listened to an episode of the Planet 76 podcast. Hey, we appreciate you joining us for this episode. Whatever platform you're on, why don't you hit that subscribe button for us, and we'll see you next time.